Bernie Sanders was asked, because he's a war pig, and he's the opposite of a lefty, and he's a phony, and he's a tool of the empire and military-industrial complex. And those are undeniable facts. And so here comes Bernie Sanders being asked about his support for the Ukraine war, and he plays dummy. I'm dumb. I will know nothing. Let's watch.
Should America send F-16s?
It's not an issue that I've been heavily involved in, but I don't
really know. No, yeah. What do I know? I'm just a senator. I'm one of the most powerful 50 people in the entire world. What do I know about this? What are you even asking me? What a bullshitter. It's not an issue I've been heavily involved in, Kurt. I just say the talking points I'm given so the CIA doesn't show those pictures to my wife. It's not an issue I've been heavily involved in.
Should America send F-16s?
It's not an issue that I've been heavily involved in, but...
What issue have you been heavily involved in, Bernie? And what are the results? How about $15 minimum wage? No. How about health care for everybody? No. How about ending the wars? No. How about a living wage? No. How about an end to homelessness? No. How about $100 billion to the most corrupt country in Europe? Boom. How about funding Nazis? Boom. You could do that stuff. You can't do any of the other. So what are your results? That's what I want to know, what you are concerned on, and what are you pulling Joe Biden to the left on? Absolutely nothing at all. You're all a bunch of fucking phonies. And his staff tweets out other bullshit tweets. You should be fucking embarrassed. You're on his staff. You should be embarrassed.
Should America send F-16s?
It's not an issue that I've been heavily involved in, but I support what the president is doing. I think what Putin did was outrageous, not only for the people of the Ukraine and all the destruction, not only for the thousands and tens of thousands of Russian soldiers who have been dying. We need a world now, if we're going to combat climate change, if we're going to combat future pandemics.
So he just knows enough to mislead you about Ukraine. Isn't that amazing? He's not heavily involved, but he does know the CIA talking points, and he does know when to start the story. He doesn't start the story in 2014 when the CIA got in bed with Nazis to overthrow the democratically elected government of Ukraine. He doesn't start with the Nord Stream pipeline being planned before Putin. He starts with Putin's invasion. He doesn't start with the shelling of the Donbass for 8 years, killing 16,000 Russian-speaking Ukrainians. He doesn't start with the Minsk Accord that the Ukrainians didn't abide by. He doesn't, none of that. He starts just with Putin's invasion, and that's it. Why? Because Bernie Sanders is a simp for empire. And if you think you're a lefty because you support him, you're also delusional. And you're supporting evil because what he's doing right now is running interference for evil while he actually commits evil. He's voting for this stuff. He's not standing up against it. Let me back it up a little. And what do we got to do now, Bernie? What do we got to do now? Come together? We got to come together?
Tens of thousands of Russian soldiers who have been dying. We need a world now, if we're going to combat climate change, if we're going to combat future pandemics, we need a world to come together. And Putin has radically disrupted that, and that is a real tragedy.
Yeah, we have it. By the way, the world needs to come together. You know, like the Democratic Party and the corporate media have come to right in my mouth. How about that? And now he's just all Putin's upset the world order. We are currently occupying a third of Syria. Which third is that, Bernie? It's the part with the oil.
Well, that's the world order.
Yeah.
We do all the things and you don't do any of it's cool when we do it.
Jesus Christ.
That really sounds like robotic, that we need to come together, something, climate change,
yes,
something.
Yes.
That's like they handed him a script. What do I say? Because it looks really bad for me.
We need to come together to fix all the buzzwords. My spouse and I gave our time and money to support this man, and this is what he tells us now. Disgusting. Not as disgusting as whatever he's being blackmailed with, I bet.
Yeah, this is way past like you're being bribed. The 180.
Yeah.
That's like blackmail level.
Yeah. Danny Highfog says Bernie Sanders said he supports NATO and Biden in Ukraine. Marianne Williamson said she opposed Biden getting out of Afghanistan because the U.S. needs to help women. With left politicians like these, who needs neocons?
She really
Nobody.
Said that?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Wow. Joe Biden, Lindsey Graham, Bernie Sanders, Mitch McConnell, Nancy Pelosi, and AOC all agree that spending $100 billion on Ukraine and our weapons manufacturers is the right thing to do. Stop voting for the GOP and for the Democratic Party. They don't care about you, and both parties are bought off. Hey, how Russia's trying to boost Bernie Sanders' campaign. Remember that? Remember, that's what the NPR said that. That's what they, so you think if they wouldn't do that to Bernie, so what they did to Trump, January 6th, Russiagate, they would do the same thing to him. They would do the same, because they're doing it. They were doing it until he fell out. And, you know, isn't that funny? Wow. Russia was boosting the Sanders campaign, and this is how he repays them.
It didn't grate this guy.
But he knows what's going on in Ukraine, because before the war started, he knew. We should have listened to Bernie Sanders about Ukraine. In early February, Bernie Sanders advocated U.S. involvement in peace talks to head off an enormously destructive war in Ukraine. We should have listened. So he knows better.
I think we were
And now
involved.
he's lying.
We were involved, but to end them immediately.
He went so wrong. He then went against he said the House progressives were wrong on Ukraine, meaning they were wrong to advocate for peace.
Hey, doesn't our big despicable empire cause most of the emissions that
Yes.
the paper straw is not going to probably
That's
help?
right. It's our military, Bernie, that you just voted for $100 billion for. That's the biggest climate change.
They didn't blow up that
Generator.
pipeline, put a lot of natural gas in the goddamn ocean.
If you want to see my stand-up special, become a member at jimmydore.com. It's only $10, and come see our live stand-up comedy in Los Angeles, Palm Springs, Milwaukee, St. Paul, Honolulu, Northampton, Massachusetts, Syracuse, Cohoes, New York, Hartford, and more.